Well, I don't really know what to say, but I just found out that I was diagnosed with breast cancer on the right side, and it also traveled to the lymph nodes. So this is my journey and my story. Oh, I don't really know where to start. One day I got up and I happened to be looking at the parrots on the parrot stand. I have parrots, I have, some birds. And some reason I happened to do this while I was watching the birds, and I felt it. It was shocking. You're kind of like, what the heck is that? So I thought it would be benign. Is this something? I don't know. But to be on the safe side, I have a kid, and no one wants to not get checked. That's just not smart. It's not just gonna go away if it is bad. I didn't think it was. So I called and made an appointment with a OB, and she comes in the room. I saw her the next day. She comes in the room, and I asked if it were my implants, because I have implants, and implants could have scar tissue. So, or maybe it was just, I don't know, dense breast tissue, lumpy, a cyst. No one wants to think cancer. So she orders a biopsy, and because I already felt a lump and we knew that it was there, it wasn't well, yes, a biopsy, but also a mammogram. I'm not a very good storyteller. So she orders a diagnostic mammogram because, obviously we know there's something there. And I walk in to the radiology place when my appointment comes around. Everything kind of started moving pretty fast. Well, I didn't schedule the biopsy for about a week or week and a half. I guess that wasn't the smartest thing to do, because I still thought, oh, not me. Why? That's crazy. So I made an appointment with the plastic surgeon so he could tell me if it were scar tissue. He ruled that out really fast after touching it. And that's when I knew. I could just tell that I needed the biopsy. So I scheduled the biopsy. And when I walked into the radiology center, that was scary because of COVID. You have to go alone. That's really, it's not. Let me add something else. This is really important for me. I have a huge phobia of needles. So for me, that's a really big problem, especially being diagnosed with cancer. That's wow, lots of needles. So I don't know, maybe I'll get over my phobia by the time this is over. I don't know, we'll see. I went through IVF with my little girl. I guess it's 7 years ago because she's 6 now. And let me tell you, that's a lot of needles right there. So I thought that would have done it. So I'll find out if the cancer journey gets me over it. I can tell you one thing, I will hold still. I won't like it, but I'll be stiff as a board when that needle comes. Okay, enough about that. But that's why it makes it so much harder for me. So I was awake. They put you on the table and they numb you with a needle. So the needle in your breast really isn't that painful. It's not pleasant, but you can do it. And then the numbing, it sets in right away. So, and they say that now we need to numb deeper. And I'm thinking, oh. But of course I don't tell them that. They don't need to know that. But it did make them fully aware that I don't like needles. So then that's done. And then they start doing the biopsy. Apparently there's different types of biopsies they can do, but I got the really fun one. It's actually a core sample biopsy, and they come in with this tool and it makes a loud click when it's I think 16 16 gauge. I don't know if it's a 16 or an 18 gauge. That's not really, but I don't want to scare anybody. I didn't feel it. I mean, I could feel the pushing, and I knew it was being done, and it's a mental thing. I know that already. And, you know, they were telling me that when they take the biopsy, you know, once they pull the trigger, then I'm gonna hear a loud click. I don't care about a loud click. I just want the needle out of my body. So I thought it was gonna be 1, maybe 2. They did 3. And then by the time that was over, they asked if I was okay, which I was fine, but at this point I was like really flustered and dizzy, but I was telling myself I'm on a table, so it's not like I'm gonna fall because I'm on a table. The nurse was on one side and the doctor's on the other, so, you know, I knew I was safe. But I did ask if they could give me some time before they, you know, biopsy the lymph nodes. I don't think I told you. It traveled, it's 7, they initially told me it was 2 centimeters, but turns out it's 7.5 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters. So that's roughly 3 inches by, I don't know, 2 inches. That's pretty significant, but I know some people have bigger masses in their breast, and they saved them. And at this point I had no clue it was cancer. So under the arm, when they numbed me there, that I did feel, that wasn't pleasant. I didn't like it, but I was already there. They told me I didn't have to, that I could come back and make another appointment, but I got myself so worked up and psyched up and prepared for this appointment. You know, like, that's how I do it. I have to build myself up mentally, you know, that I was thinking, no, I need to do it now, even if I don't like it. And then when they started numbing under the arm, no, you feel that, but then it does get numb. And then they did the same thing, and they took 3 samples from there also, so 6 samples total. So I was really I was really not thrilled that day. Yeah, but after that, oh, they do use a scalpel. I didn't feel that. They have to make a little nick in the skin to, you know, get in there. Well, I didn't get my results for about, no, I didn't get my results. I'd say a week or so, or weekend, a little more passed, and I knew that that wasn't right because I've worked in a clinic setting before. So I called the radiology place for my results. No call from the doctor. These results were probably ready the next day, but no call from the doctor. I guess doctors are busy. Most of them aren't like that, but there are some that. So I call, I get medical records. The lady answers the phone. I explain I want my results, and she won't give them to me over the phone, which it's HIPAA. So, I mean, I can't really say anything about that. It was a little inconvenient, but I know what she's talking about. Said I had to drive down there. It's on the other side of town. So I drive across town, scared. My driving leg is shaking. Although I thought it was gonna be nothing, just a, you know, a scare, and then it's like, oh, I can't believe I touched this and didn't like jump. I got used to it. I have a port. I'll get to that. But I get there, and the receptionist, after she gets my ID, she prints the paper, and I could see that she looked at it, so I know she knew the results. And she hands it to me with a straight face. Just not mean, not rude, just as a matter of fact. And that kind of made me think, okay. So then my hands are kind of holding the paper. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not really sure exactly what I'm reading, but I can make out some words. So I sit in the chair in the waiting room, happened to be the first chair right next to the receptionist, and I'm scanning and reading, and I see the word, I think it was malignant, and metastatic, but that meant that it went to the lymph nodes, not metastatic as in it spread through the bones, and that would be really, you know, a lot more advanced. So I'm looking for the word benign. It wasn't there. And then I'm thinking, okay, I know the receptionist is not a doctor, but I'm gonna walk up to the window and ask her, what does this word mean? Malignant? I know what it means, but I thought maybe I'm wrong. And then she tells me she can't discuss it with me, that I have to go to my doctor. And the doctor will explain it. So there I am. Doctor never called me. And I'm holding my own. Who wants to get the news like that? Well, I did. So if that happens to you, you have to stand up and just get your results and get things moving. So I go to the doctor's office. I drive straight there. And they have the kiosk outside, you know, with the person with the shield on and the mask, and, you know, you have to check in, and no one can go in the office unless you have an appointment. So I handed the results to her, and she goes inside, so she goes inside, comes out, tells me that my doctor does not have an available appointment to go over the results with me for over a month. What? It's not a doctor's appointment. It's like, it could be a phone call. To which I replied calmly, I don't need her. I need any doctor, any PA, nurse practitioner. It doesn't matter. I said, all I need is a first available appointment to oncology and surgery. That's the other thing that the paper said. Recommended referral to surgery and a recommended referral to oncology. Doesn't take rocket science. So the next day I get a PA. I don't even think she was in this county, but it was over the phone, so it didn't matter. I said, I don't care. The first. So when she called, I just explained, you know, what I just said. And she gave me the 2 referrals, and she put stat. So they got there pretty fast, and I got set up with a very good oncology place. Everyone's so nice. They're very compassionate. And I'm scared to death. Like, are you more scared of the cancer or the needles? Like, and I met with the surgeon first, and that went okay. So that's a whole nother video right there. But basically what it boils down to is that I had to have, I believe, an MRI, a PET scan. That's where, you know, they scan your whole body. You get an IV, and then they inject this nuclear substance in your IV. And I wasn't looking, of course. I always have my head turned. And she's gathering the stuff, and when I look over, there's literally a radioactive lead container. That's what the syringe, excuse me, that's what the syringe goes in. I took a picture of it. I'll probably put it in the video. So I'm just like, okay, well, I gotta do it. I'm not gonna say no. So then they did the scan, and in this particular scan, if you have cancer in the results, it lights up. So that's how the doctors know, because it'll glow, I wanna say like yellowish color, and it's 3D, and they can scroll, and, you know, he showed it to me on the computer. Oh, amongst other tests. I had a chest x-ray too, and can't, I'm just at a loss right now. I forgot, but yeah. So you do all your tests. Every chemo, you get your blood work done. Oh, I talked to the oncologist, of course. So I have chemo every 2 weeks, and it's AKA, people dub it the red double. It's red as blood. Even your urine is red. But I forgot this part. I told you there were more things they do to you. Well, they can, I guess, but it's not advised, and you wouldn't want it either. You don't want chemo injected into your veins because it'll damage your veins. So I was awake for this too. They did sedate me, but yes, I was awake. Scared. So I guess they just cut here, then they have a metal guide, and I could feel them really jamming it in there as if I would have been sedated or something, but I was awake. I'll probably insert the pictures from right after. You know, you can see each dot from when they jammed it in there. Plus all this. This is healing. This is over a week. Maybe I want to say maybe a week and a half now, but it's healed. There's a tube that goes here, and it goes into the carotid artery. But basically, this is your port. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. And instead of getting stuck in your arm every time you have chemo, they just stick it there. It's kind of like a little button. It's a syringe, and they numb you. You get this numbing cream that you put on. You put a big glob. Don't be afraid of the numbing cream. Don't worry about it. Put a huge glob about 3 hours before. Well, this is what I do. An hour and a half, I'll wipe it off, and then I'll apply more, and then I'll put this big Band-Aid back on top. Just the Band-Aid's just to hold the cream. You know, you want it to soak into your skin. Then when you get there, they numb you. They have this numbing spray. It's cold, and they put this cold spray on you so you don't feel it. And that's when they, you know, I'm not sure, I wasn't watching, but the hoses are, it's an IV essentially, except it doesn't go here, it goes here. So once that was in, they put saline. I guess that's probably to flush it out, plus it hydrates you because you need to be extremely hydrated. Like, you can't drink too much water. Drink lots of water, at least 2 liters a day, because you don't want that to aid getting you nauseous or something. Yeah, so the actual treatment didn't hurt. It was just an interesting experience. You could kind of feel the cold, not too much, but just enough to know that, you know, something's going in there. Also, it was my first. Oh, it's interesting. I don't even know what to say. You know, you're sitting in the chair for the first time and you're just kind of thinking, how did I get here? In the transfusion center. Like, wow, never thought. But yes, there I was. It didn't last too long. I think I was there for about 3 hours. There were 2 different medicines, chemo medicines, and you have the nausea medicine. I have pictures of that too. And let's see, what else can I say? It's been an interesting journey. I was very scared. I can tell you I haven't had any caffeine. They didn't even have to tell me not to drink caffeine, because anything that's gonna amp me up, I don't want it right now. Especially with anxiety. This isn't my favorite color, pink, although I do love pink. I don't like pastel pink. But the reason I bought this shirt is because when you get chemo and you have a port, you don't want a shirt that's gonna cover and they'll have to stretch to get to it. You want a boat neck shirt or something with, you know, the arm cut out, or just something low. So when I saw this, I have a few different shirts with wide necks that I picked up, but this one gives you access to the port. When I first got it, I was so creeped out by the fact of having a foreign object jammed under my skin. I guess I shouldn't say it like that. I don't want to scare anybody. Had a big bruise. You can, like I said, you could see it here, but I mean, it was just, so it was very painful. The first time I laid down in bed, I couldn't jump right back up because I was too sore. It's like having surgery. It is a surgery. So I kind of rolled up out of bed, but I could feel the tube. It was creepy. But the positive is that'll just become part of your body. It's like any surgery. If you get an ear piercing or anything like that, or you've had implants or veneers, you know, at first it feels foreign and then your body just adapts to it. So it doesn't bother me now, and I could touch it. Before there was no, even poking it creeped me out, but yeah, it's there. I think the scar is going to heal nicely. I don't usually have problems with scars. All my scars have healed well. My next chemo appointment's going to be in 2 weeks. They're every 2 weeks for 4 months, I believe. I have a total of 8 treatments, and each treatment is going to be 2 different medications. Well, let's see. I think I have 4 rounds of, is it doxycycline? I don't want to say the wrong name, but it's called the Red Devil. And another one.